If there is one thing Archie Bunker truly believes in, it's that problems exist primarily to inconvenience him. Not society. Not history. Him. So when Archie opens the newspaper and sees an article accusing local clubs of discrimination, he doesn't read it like a citizen. He reads it like a man being personally accused of a crime he doesn't think should be illegal in the first place. In Archie's mind, the newspaper isn't doing journalism. It's doing harassment. And the fact that the article sounds suspiciously like it's describing his beloved private club makes the situation go from annoying to emergency. Archie reacts the way he always does when the world changes without asking his permission. He gets loud. He complains. He insists everyone is overreacting. He starts explaining that the club's membership rules aren't discriminatory, they're just selective, which is Archie's favorite kind of word, one that sounds respectable if you say it confidently enough. Mike, his son-in-law and long-suffering voice of modern reality, tries to explain that excluding people based on who they are is still discrimination, no matter how politely you phrase it. Archie dismisses this like it's a philosophical opinion, not a legal reality. Then Mike mentions the one thing that instantly cuts through Archie's noise: taxes. Specifically, the club's property tax exemption. The moment Archie realizes the club could lose its tax break, the tone changes. He may not care what people think, but he absolutely cares what the government charges. It's like flipping a switch. Suddenly, Archie wants solutions. Fast ones. And not the kind that require actual reflection or growth, just solutions that make the problem go away. Archie gathers the club guys at his house, and they arrive like a panel of men who all believe they're victims of a misunderstanding. They're angry about the article, scared about protests, and downright terrified of losing money. Their discussion circles the same idea over and over. We didn't do anything wrong, mixed with why is everyone picking on us? Archie takes charge, because when chaos hits, Archie always appoints himself general. His plan is classic Archie logic. If the club is accused of discrimination, then all they need is proof they aren't discriminating. Not change. Not fairness. Proof. He suggests inviting someone different into the club, not because they want him there, but because his presence would act like insurance. In Archie's mind, this isn't using a person. It's being clever. The club guys agree, because clever solutions that cost nothing and change nothing are their favorite kind. Archie decides to make the plan extra efficient. Why invite multiple people when you can invite one person who covers everything at once? He suggests Solomon Jackson, a man he knows from work. Archie talks about Solomon like he's a solution, not a human being. Edith, as usual, is uncomfortable but hopeful. She believes if Solomon comes, maybe something genuinely good could happen. Archie believes Solomon coming will make the problem disappear. The dinner is arranged, and from the moment Solomon arrives, the tension is obvious. Archie tries to act welcoming, but his friendliness has the stiff quality of someone reading from a script they didn't rehearse. The club guys show up and start performing friendliness too, laughing too loudly, smiling too hard, as if warmth can be faked by volume. Edith is the only one who feels natural, greeting Solomon sincerely, treating him like a guest instead of a symbol. Solomon immediately understands what's happening. He listens more than he talks, which makes Archie nervous. Archie fills the silence with chatter about the club, how fun it is, how relaxed it is, how everyone gets along. Then comes the pitch. They tell Solomon he'd be welcome to join, but they're quick to add that he wouldn't be expected to attend meetings or events, or really show up at all. He could be a member without being involved. They present this like a generous offer, but what they're really saying is, please exist quietly so we can keep everything exactly the same. Solomon nods, calm and thoughtful, while the men around him wait like students hoping the teacher doesn't notice their homework is blank. Archie watches Solomon closely, desperate for approval. And then Solomon does something unexpected. He accepts. The relief in the room is instant. Archie looks proud, like he just outsmarted the entire world. The club guys relax. The problem, they think, is solved. And then Solomon finishes his thought. He explains that he's excited to join and that he plans to invite others. Friends. Community members. People who would actually participate. He talks about bringing energy, life, and openness to the club. He speaks about inclusion as something real, not symbolic. And in that moment, the entire plan collapses. The men freeze. Their faces reveal panic because Solomon isn't playing along. He's taking their offer seriously. Archie tries to interrupt, but Solomon continues, politely and firmly. He makes it clear that if he joins, it won't be quietly or invisibly. It will be fully. He thanks them for the invitation and leaves, exposing the truth without ever raising his voice. The club guys are left sitting in silence, forced to face the fact that they never wanted fairness. They wanted cover. That humiliation alone would be enough to shake most people. But Archie doesn't get quiet lessons. He gets loud ones. Because while he's still licking his wounds from the dinner disaster, trouble shows up next door in the form of Barney Hefner's dog, Rusty. Rusty has developed a habit of using Archie's front walkway as his personal restroom, and Archie takes this as a declaration of war. Edith tries to explain that dogs don't understand property lines. Archie refuses to hear it. To him, Rusty isn't a dog, he's a repeat offender. Archie complains, threatens, and finally decides to take matters into his own hands. He scoops up the mess and deposits it on Barney's porch, convinced this will teach a lesson. It does, but not the one Archie expects. Barney confronts Archie, furious, and the two men argue like it's a sport they've trained for their entire lives. Archie threatens legal action. Barney mocks him. Edith tries to mediate, offering kindness like a peace treaty nobody signed. The argument escalates, tempers flare, and then, because life always chooses the worst possible timing, an accident happens. Archie backs his cab into Barney's door. In the chaos, Rusty is injured. Not slightly. Seriously. The moment changes instantly. The shouting stops. The jokes vanish. This is no longer about pride. It's about a hurt animal. Edith rushes to help. Barney panics. Archie stands there, shaken. Realizing this went far beyond what he intended. They rush Rusty to the vet. Archie complains about the cost because that's his reflex, but guilt creeps in anyway. He doesn't want to admit responsibility, but he can't ignore it either. The vet confirms Rusty has a broken leg. The bill is high. Archie reacts like the numbers physically slapped him, but even he can't deny what happened. Back home, Archie debates how to tell Barney. Edith insists on honesty. Archie wants strategy. He tries to soften the truth, thinking he can manage the situation if he presents it just right. When Barney shows up, Archie becomes strangely polite, overly friendly, clearly hiding something. He talks in circles about accidents and how terrible it would be if something bad happened to a dog. And then, inevitably, he slips and mentions the vet bill, an impossible detail to know unless you were involved. Barney realizes the truth instantly. He's angry, hurt, protective, and heartbroken. Archie gets defensive, trying to spread blame, pointing out that Rusty shouldn't roam freely. Edith steps in, grounding the moment with sincerity. When Barney sees Rusty's splint, the anger softens into something heavier, acceptance mixed with pain. By the end, the argument cools into an uneasy truce. Rusty is recovering. Barney considers getting another dog for companionship. Edith loves the idea. Archie immediately worries about more dogs, more noise, more problems. It's classic Archie, growth with a side of complaint. What ties both stories together is Archie's need to control outcomes without changing himself. With a club, he tries to fix discrimination by adding a person like a prop. Solomon refuses to be used and exposes the emptiness of the plan by taking it seriously. With the dog, Archie tries to solve conflict with pettiness, only to face real consequences that force accountability. The humor works because it's grounded in truth. Archie isn't evil. He's stubborn, scared, and resistant to change. He thinks loudness equals strength and control equals safety. But every time he tries to game the system, whether social or neighborly, it backfires. And standing quietly beside him is Edith, proving that decency doesn't need a plan, and Solomon, proving that dignity doesn't need permission. In the end, nobody becomes perfect. The club doesn't magically transform. Archie doesn't suddenly modernize. But the illusions crack. the excuses collapse. And for a brief moment, reality wins, not with shouting but with calm, consequences, and one very injured dog that nobody can argue with.